All right, gonna go live just a moment, just a few short moments. Yeah, a lot of us talk about that. Hey, we've already got people in attendance. That's nice to see. You know what? I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's get going. All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevens, and welcome to the weekend recap for August. What was it, 12th through the 5th, 14th? A lot of good fights over the weekend. We just had the final fight of the weekend, technically, a couple minutes ago. But a lot to talk about. Great fights over this past weekend. Plus, we're gonna got a big fight announcement that I didn't get to really talk about yesterday, and I want to talk about it today. So we're gonna get into that. And maybe like three people disappear. Oh well. Anyway, let's get into the weekend recap. Before I get started, though, please remember to hit that like button. Gets the algorithm noticing the stream as it goes, and it draws more people to it. So first up, on Friday, we had Bellator 284, where Deanna Bennett defeated Justine Kish again via unanimous decision. Again, these two just fought back in, I think it was February of this year, and the fight basically played out exactly as it did back in, February. So Deanna Bennett has fought twice this year, both times beating Justine Kish, whereas this is Kish's third fight of the year. She lost to Bennett, beat defeated Elimele McFarlane, and then now has lost to Deanna Bennett again. So this was the most pointless rematch I've ever seen. Not only was it pointless, they did it two times in 7 months. No, 6 or 7 months. Why? It's like you're better off just telling Bennett, like, hey, give us a couple more months and then we'll get you in a fight because we don't have anyone else right now. This is just silly. I mean, there was absolutely no point to this rematch. Anyway, also at flyweight, Elimele McFarlane returned, defeating Bruna Ellen via, apparently it was a unanimous decision. Now, it was read off at the official announcement as a split decision, but apparently the announcer read it wrong and it was a unanimous decision. I only caught the third round of this fight. Like, I basically woke up from a nap to see Elimele McFarlane caught in a guillotine of Bruna Ellen. And then she fought pretty hard against it, almost losing her shorts in the process. But then she did get out of it and started, landing some elbows and looked pretty good after that. But Elimele missed weight by a decent margin, like 3 pounds past the absolute limit of 126 for flyweight, which, if you consider championship weight, that's like 4 pounds over. Got to be honest here. Elimele McFarlane has 1 foot out the door already. She's openly discussed, as soon as my Bellator contract is up, I'm done. Don't get your hopes up for a title run. That's all I'm going to say, because she doesn't want it. She doesn't even want to fight anymore. That's just all there is to it. Elimele McFarlane does not. Elimele McFarlane does not want to be a fighter anymore. She just wants to go home, have a bunch of babies, and get fat. That's pretty much going to be her life after fighting, I think. Anyway, moving on, Combate Global promised an all ladies card and kind of delivered on it, I guess. But they did have one ladies fight. Anyway, these fights are going to be out of order to what they actually happened during the show. But at flyweight, let's see if Topology properly updated this. At flyweight, Aitana Alvarez defeated Tyler Schaefer, excuse me, via TKO. 3 minutes 41 seconds of the second round. Uh, Interesting fight to watch. Alvarez tried to keep things at range while Schaefer, wanted to get in close. Schaefer kept circling around the outside of the cage and, trying to get back into the center, but Alvarez really used her length and reach uh, pretty well in this fight to stay at distance. And then once she did get close in the second round, she got an easy outside trip takedown right up against the cage, trapped Schaefer against it. Tried going for the rear naked choke at first, and then switched back and forth between going for the choke and going for ground and pound. Eventually decided on ground and pound. Not the strongest of punches that were landing, but she landed like a ton of them at the end there. And the referee gave Schaefer every chance, but had to eventually step in and stop it. So nice win there for Aitana Alvarez, who was nice enough to say, "Hey, I'm going to give you a good fight for you to review this time," because I reviewed her last fight as well. And then when I sent her the link, she said, "Told you I was going to do it." So Aitana Alvarez, friend of the channel. That's her on the right there. At atomweight, we had Melissa Gomez, who's on the right-hand side there, defeated um, Elizabeth Magoyan Avila via split decision. Gomez climbed to 2-0. Avila fell to 0-4. This was not a pretty fight. That's all I can really say. This is not a pretty fight. But Gomez got the win there. She moves on with her career. Avila, now at 0-4, has to really consider, is this something I want to continue to do? Because, I mentioned this on Friday night during the live stream for this event. I was doing a fight companion. But I mentioned, there are fighters that start off with a really bad record that come back to improve on it. But it is a long, arduous road. It is a long road. And it's not for everybody. And she's already, how old is she? 30 years old. So maybe it's not for her. But again, that's not for me to decide. Unfortunately, the flyweight bout between Jessica Ortega and Dee Begley was canceled. Apparently, Ortega's paperwork for her blood tests did not come back in time. Don't know what was going on with that, but this fight has been rescheduled for a later date, apparently. And this was the co-main event at flyweight. Roslyn Chavira defeated Flora Chavez via TKO. They declared it 4:59 of round one, which is goofy because the round ended. Maybe that's like a Florida-ism. I don't know, but the round ended, and then Chavez wasn't able to come out for the second round. She hurt her ankle. So I don't know why they're saying 4:59. Must be a Florida thing. But anyway, I got this pick wrong. I thought that Chavez's aggressiveness and athleticism would be enough to get past Chavira's technicality. Because sometimes that aggression and athletic ability at the lower levels is enough to do that. Chavira lit her up on the feet. And it wasn't even like anything fancy either. It was just pure fundamentals. Simple 1, 2, 3s. We're getting it done. I'm talking jab, cross, hook. Was getting it done every time against Flora Chavez. Roslyn Chavira, very clean technical boxing. Very nice to see in the ladies division. Really nice to see. But Chavira got it done. She climbs to 3-0, and Chavez falls to 1-1. So we go to the main event. Shortest fight on the card. Claire Lopez defeating Camila Rivarola via submission due to rear naked choke, 44 seconds of the first round. Now, I did a full breakdown video of this fight that you can go check out later. But wow, that's all I can say is wow. Like, I knew Lopez had power, and I knew she had grappling ability. But in this fight, she showed real one punch ability, which is pretty ironic because she trains under Brad One Punch Pickett, UFC veteran. But she at one point in the fight, we're talking early in the first round, she backs Lopez off with a nice stiff jab and then starts faking takedowns. She goes one, two, and on the second level change, Rivarola kind of leaned forward a little bit, and Lopez just sent up a right uppercut. Bam, floored Rivarola. Lopez followed her to the ground, jumped on the back, sunk in the choke. Now the choke wasn't under the neck; it was over the chin, like this. But let me tell you something: you get someone squeezing that hard like that, you don't need it to be under the chin. Someone squeezing that hard on your jaw, it's going to hurt. And Rivarola had no choice but to tap out. And you could see the look on her face was like, what just happened afterwards? I mean, even by the time they got to reading off the official result, she still just had this look on her face like, what hit me? Like, she was just stunned. But Claire Lopez, I'm on the bandwagon. Let's just say that. I don't jump on bandwagons. I am on the Claire Lopez bandwagon. She has defeated in her last 4 fights, she has defeated 3 of Combate Global's top 10 strawweights. But she keeps wanting to move down to atomweight. She says, I can do it. And, she was on weight at 115 pounds 24 hours before the weigh-ins. So I certainly believe she can get down to atomweight. And if she does, she deserves an immediate title shot. As it is, it's hard to deny her a title fight at strawweight. But she wants it at atomweight. I say do it. Put her in with Ana Palacios, and let's have an atomweight title fight. Let's crown that inaugural Combate atomweight champion that they were supposed to do years ago. Easy E in the chat says, can't say I was impressed with McFarlane. I was never impressed even when she was the champ. Bruna Ellen should have won that fight on her striking alone, in my opinion. She didn't push the pace. Yeah, I think even as her championship run wore on, it was kind of obvious that McFarlane was a limited fighter, and they kept giving her like relatively easy fights, especially in Hawaii. So they didn't really give her any big risky fights up until the Juliana Velasquez fight. All right, moving on, we had Cage Warriors 142 on Saturday in Wales. And I did not catch this fight, but this was a lightweight bout. We had 2 ladies, and Jasmine Favero defeated Stephanie Evans via TKO at 3:48 of the second round. Looks like Favero officially winning her pro debut, and the local girl Evans falling to 0-1. I don't really watch Cage Warriors, but I just thought that 2 ladies at lightweight in Wales was interesting enough to at least give it the coverage. So I did. But what's her name? Jasmine Favero? Jasmine Favero. 1-0 at lightweight. Probably going to see her in PFL soon. Because by next year, because they need the lightweights. So anyway, moving on to the main card of this weekend was UFC Fight Night Vera versus Cruz, or UFC San Diego. Had 4 ladies bouts on this card, and 3 of the 4 delivered. Now this one did not. At flyweight, Nina Nunes defeated Cynthia Calvillo via split decision. Nunes climbed to 11-7. Calvillo fell to 9-5. I have a hard time figuring out how they gave what how a judge gave Calvillo this fight. This was actually easy work for Nunes. So I don't know what that judge was seeing in giving Calvillo the fight. Nunes has officially retired. She says she wants to have more kids. Good luck, Amanda, having now to provide for even more mouths. But Calvillo, if this isn't it for her in the UFC, then I don't know what it's going to take, and I don't know what it's going to take for her to turn her career around. Because looking at Cynthia Calvillo, she has lost what, 4 straight. Uh, 2 of them by stoppage, 2 by decision. The start of the downfall was Katlyn Chookagian in November of 2020, lost decision there. Took almost a year off, fought Jessica Andrade in September and got obliterated. I mean, she just got absolutely obliterated by Jessica Andrade in the first round. Then she took on Andrea Lee, couldn't make it past the first round. Corner called it at the end of the first round, which was, excuse me, a really bad sign from her. And then, was it Saturday night, lost the decision to Nunes, who was moving up to 125 for the first time. I mean, Calvillo had moved up from strawweight as well, but she had been used to it by then, or she should have been used to it by then, but she wasn't. So I don't know. She's got to do something. Has got to do something. I'm not sure what gym she's training out of now, but I don't think that's the answer. Wherever she's at, it's not the answer. I'm not sure what to do, what Calvillo needs to do. But, well, one, it would be going back to her grappling more, which she tried to do in this fight, but definitely needs to do that more. Maybe move back to strawweight. Maybe get her diet under control. Try to get down to strawweight. I don't know. I don't know with her at this point. Easy E says, can't say how disappointed I am in Calvillo. She's been a total flop at 125. She didn't even look in shape for the fight. She should have stayed at 115, in my opinion. All she had to do was take Nina down. It's not that easy to take down, though. Because you got to remember, Tatiana Suarez started to have trouble taking her down as that fight wore on. Nightcap 43, you are new, says, hi, what's this here? So welcome to WMMA Now. Welcome to the weekend recap for August 12th through the 14th. This was a good fight here. At strawweight, Angela Hill defeated Lupita Godinez via unanimous decision. Yep, unanimous decision. After 3 rounds, Hill climbed to 14-12. Godinez fell to 8-3. This is the other pick I got wrong here. I think I picked Godinez to win this one. But Angela Hill getting it done against a young, seemingly fast-rising prospect and making it look relatively easy. Now, Godinez did light Hill up a bit in the first round, but as the fight wore on, Hill just did not allow Godinez to close in for the takedowns, kept things either at a distance or she was the one mostly initiating the clinch and just absolutely beating up on Godinez. Just really nice effort there from Angela Hill. Godinez, I thought that the main problems for her in the Luana Carolina fight was Carolina's height. I'm starting to think now she just has a problem with long, lanky fighters, period. I mean, Luana Carolina, long and lanky. Angela Hill, long, lanky, all limbs. Maybe she just has a problem with fighters that are built like that. But the blueprint is there to beat Godinez. All of her striking is aimed at getting in close. Once she gets in close, she's going to go for the takedown. When she gets the takedown, she's going to go for ground and pound. Like that's basically the three easy steps to Lupita Godinez's game, and it works. And it works well for the most part. But if you can stop it at either of the two early points, if you can stop her from getting in close, or if you can stop the takedown, she's kind of shot. And once Hill was able to start, um, beating her takedowns, Godinez was kind of lost after that. And then she was reduced to, kickboxing, which is not her forte. It also helped that Angela Lee was, letting her know that that knee is there if she was going to go for the takedowns. And it did a really good job of discouraging Godinez from going for them. But Angela Hill, people use the term gatekeeper disparagingly, but I think that's actually a good term for Angela Hill, and not in a bad way, because Angela's that fighter where if you can beat her, you're usually going to find yourself in the top 10 in very short order. She is at number 13, and right now, mm, and yeah, she's at like the perfect spot because she's never been able to actually beat a ranked fighter, but at the same time, she doesn't really lose to unranked fighters. I mean, let's pull up her record here. Her record is not pretty. It's 14-12. But so she snapped the three-fight losing streak. But look who she lost to: Tisha Torres, Amanda Lemos, and Verna Jandiroba. Jandiroba's at 10, Lemos at 8, Watterson Torres is at number 7. So that's 3 fighters in the top 10. And then who she beat before that? Ashley Yoder. Before that, had a loss to Michelle Watterson back in 2020. Watterson was still in top 10 at the time. Dropped a split to Gedalia. Before that, she had a nice 3-fight win streak against Ariane Carnelossi, Hannah Steepers, and Me. Yeah, the lesson here is that you put Angela Hill against a ranked fighter, she's not likely going to get it done. Anybody with a number. But you put her in against someone who's unranked, she's going to get it done every time, and she's going to show, oh, maybe this fighter doesn't deserve to be ranked yet. So, yeah, I don't use gatekeeper as a disparaging term for someone like Angela, whose role basically is, hey, if you can beat me, you deserve a number next to your name, and if you can't, then work on it some more, work on your game some more. Easy E asks, who's Libby training with? Like she had no idea that you don't play the striking game with Hill. The thing is, you have to set up takedowns on Hill. She didn't seem to know how to set her up. I don't think it's so much that she didn't know how to set her up. I think Hill didn't really allow her to set up the takedowns good. Because Godinez always sets up for takedowns. It's just, Hill just threw her off completely. And after that, I think she just didn't know what she was doing, which is a problem because when fighters basically work on like a chain or a flow, once you get them out of that flow, or if you take one link out of that chain, the whole thing falls apart. And that's what happened with Godinez. Everything she does, every move she makes is to get to the next step in a process. And Once you defeated one step in the process, the whole thing falls apart. Like you have to go back at least one step. And Easy E says, my friend was saying Loopy is a fraud, but I can't say that. If you stand with someone like Hill, she can get you. Yeah, I don't think Loopy's a fraud at all. I think she's a very young, talented fighter. I think that she definitely is a part of the future of the strawweight division. And I said this in a tweet on Saturday night. I said, is Godinez a part of the future of the strawweight division? Yes. Does that future start tonight? Not yet. No. So I think she definitely has a place. It's just not yet. And then at flyweight, this is on the main card. Priscilla Cachoeira defeated Ariane Lipski via knockout, minute 5 seconds of the first round. Cachoeira climbed to 12-4. Lipski fell to 14-8. What do I say to this? This was the dumbest I've ever seen Lipski fight. Like, she's never been one exactly for high fight IQ. This was like she walked in there with no brain in her head at all. Like none. Because what did I say on Thursday night? I said the key to beating Priscilla Cachoeira is to not just stand in front of her and trade. And I said, I think Lipski's smart enough to know that. Well, F me, right? F me, I was wrong. Because Lipski stood right in front of her and started throwing punches and paid the price for it. And then once she got tagged once, boom, she was done. She lost all composure, had no idea what she was doing, just continued to stand right in front of Cachoeira until she went down for the count. It's like Lipski was a big disappointment. Not to me necessarily, but I know to a lot of people that had high hopes for her because she was the KSW champ coming into the UFC. I think, though, we got to admit, it's time to admit that a lot of her hype, well, we all know what a lot of the hype was coming from. We all know where a lot of the hype for Lipski was coming from here. Okay. When did she come to the UFC? 2019, January of 2019. She had some decent wins, but nothing super impressive. I mean, one of her best wins was over Sheila Gaff, who was 11-6-1 at the time. Mariana Moraes was a decent win. Her last win before coming to the UFC was over Silvana Gomez Juarez. We've seen what kind of fighter Gomez Juarez is in the UFC now. And another one of her wins leading up to the UFC was Diana Belbada. Again, we've seen what Belbada is like in the UFC. So it's like, yeah, a lot of her wins, yeah, she won in spectacular fashion and had exciting fights, but they weren't exactly against the greatest of competition. Like I saw someone today, a paid MMA media member, no less, say that she was arguably number one flyweight in the world when she got signed. No way. When she got signed back in 2019, I wouldn't say so. It was at that time. It was probably Vanessa Porto. Yeah, Lipski just did the dumbest thing you could possibly do against Priscilla Cachoeira. All you got to do is not stand right in front of her. Move, move, move. Strike and move, strike and move, strike and move. Do not stand in front of her for more than a second. Lipski couldn't even do that. So Very disappointing result. Also on the main card, and this one made up for the stinker that was um, Nunes versus Calvillo. Yasmin Howagi getting it done against Yasmin Lucindo via unanimous decision. Howagi climbed to 9-0. Lucindo fell to 13-5. Woo, this is a good fight, and I did a full in-depth review on it that you can go check out later. But wow, this fight was fun. It was a very fun fight, and both ladies got to show off what they're capable of. At least in the stand-up, there was no real ground. There was no groundwork at all in this fight. But this is good. First round, Lucindo, excuse me, Lucindo tagged Howagi a few times with some power shots. But as the rounds wore on, it was mostly Yasmin Howagi, excuse me, getting it done. You know, the big thing about this fight, straight punches, looping punches. I mean, big loops. Hawagi's punches, all down the middle. Lucindo's punches, all big loops. Straight punches are going to beat the looping punches more often than not. Okay, they're quicker. I had this written down. They're quicker. They're more accurate. They take less energy, and they transfer power much better. Okay, not a good demonstration here, but watch. I'm going to throw a jab straight down the center, right? Super fast. And now I'm going to throw the same hand in a looping punch. Okay, straight, loop. The straight punch is faster. It's faster. It's much more accurate. Again, it takes a lot less energy. I mean, for me to just throw a jab, all I'm doing is popping my shoulder up. But for me to throw it in a loop, I've got to bring it out and around. And it takes a lot more muscle work. Ah, really happy with Yasmin Hawagi's success in this bout. She really came to my attention last year during the one night strawweight tournament that Combate Global had. And earlier in the year, around January, I named her one of my prospects to watch in 2022. And 8 months later, she's getting it done in the UFC now. So really glad to see that. Lucindo, I think she'll be good for some fun fights. I don't see her moving up the rankings too much. But Howagi, let's take it slow. Let's not rush her. UFC has a really bad habit of rushing fighters and then as soon as they fall, then they get like that slow road to recovery. Let's take a time with Howagi. Okay, she's young. She's 23, 24. She's got all the time in the world. Let's not rush things. She is a legit prospect. Easy E says, step your game up, ladies. There are no easy fights in the UFC anymore. I don't know. They keep giving Molly McCann. Well, they were giving McCann easy fights. Final fight. I haven't gotten to watch this one yet because I was sleeping and then I got ready for the stream. But Dana White's Contender Series, bantamweight bout, Haley Cowan defeated Claudia Leite via split decision. Cowan climbed to 7-2. Leite fell to 7-3. Did they get to the contracts yet? Oh, they gave Haley Cowan a UFC contract, according to Topology. So, Haley Cowan, the newest bantamweight on the UFC roster. And you know what? Bantamweight needs fighters. So, even if the fight wasn't particularly good, sign her anyway. That division needs new prospects. How old is Haley Cowan anyway? I think Leite's the younger fighter. Oh, Cowan's 30. Leite's 25. right, so that is it for the weekend recap. So I have a feeling a number of you in the chat are here for this news. So one championship announced yesterday, or at least MMA Fighting did. One championship, the headliner for one on Prime Video, 2 on September 30th. That's going to be prime time for in the U.S. Angela Lee, unstoppable Angela Lee, is moving up to face the Panda, Xiong Jingnan, for the third time. She's going to be challenging for Xiong's title again. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into this. Their two fights, their first two fights. First time Ali moved up, challenged for Xiong's title. Amazing back and forth fight, with Xiong winning via stoppage in the 5th round. Second fight, again, another amazing back and forth fight, with Lee winning via very late rear naked choke submission win, like 12 seconds left. Questionable with the slam that she got, but one championship ruled it legal, so that's what are you going to do? As a fight, I don't have a problem with them facing each other a third time, because we know it's going to be good. Okay, we know that if these two face off for a third time, it's going to be fireworks. I have a hard time imagining that it wouldn't be. Here's my problem, and I'm going to upset some people, because Angela Lee fans are very, very sensitive people. Why is this fight being made right now? Why? Why is it being made right now? Angela Lee owes us another title defense. Okay, she owes her fans another title defense, and she sure as heck, you would think, would owe one championship another title defense. Let's look at her record. Okay, listen. These are her last two title defenses. One was in 2019. The most recent one was in March of 2022. Her last title defense before the Xiong fight, the second Xiong fight, was way back in May of 2018. Between that, she had her two failed attempts at one strawweight, 125 pounds. She failed twice, 2 times at 125 pounds. Failed twice. So, come October. Now this happens in the end of September, which means that come October, she will have had one title defense in 3 years. And in the 4 years since the last May Yamaguchi fight, May of 2018, she has only defended her title twice. 2 times, 2 defenses in 4 freaking years. I think she owes us a title defense. Okay? And she has a rightful title contender in Sahi Ham. So why is she getting the challenge? Why is she getting to move up the challenge? I'm sorry, it's just some crap. It's crap that she is getting to move up to challenge Xiong again. She failed to challenge to beat Xiong in her division once before. She tried to stay up in that division and to challenge to earn another challenge at the 125-pound title, and she lost to Michelle Nicolini. If she's going to challenge for the 125 again, I think she should actually have to win a fight first. Just saying. I mean, she lost to Michelle Nicolini. Xiong breezed through Nicolini when they fought. I mean, Nicolini posed almost no challenge for Xiong, whereas her and Angela went basically life or death in their fight, being, Angela and Michelle Nicolini. That was a very close fight. So you had one fighter had a very close fight with Michelle Nicolini at 125, and the other, the champ, really didn't have any problem with her. Basically cruised through it. All Nicolini could do was jump guard and hold on for life. I just, I don't see the point in this right now. I don't. I get it that one championship is, trying to make a big impression on Amazon Prime Video. Just have her defend her title. It's not that hard. She has challengers in her division. Stop trying to force the Angela Lee two division champion thing. Stop trying to force the multiple division champions thing, period. Okay? She went, again, she went how long? Coming up on 3 years with only one title defense. Defend your freaking title. And it sucks because they have what, like I said, they have a worthy title challenger right now in the most decorated atomweight fighter in the sports history. In Sahi Han. And they've done nothing with her. In fact, if anything, they've downplayed her status. Because Ham has signed on to one, and in the last 2.5 years, she's only had 2 fights. She's had to sit and wait, play the waiting game. And this is, if anybody was worthy of getting a title challenge right away coming into the promotion, it was Ham. For one championship, keeps downplaying her. Michael Shilabello, their commentator, their play-by-play commentator, the "Good night, Irene" guy, that goofball. He's like, he's even said, Ham has to prove herself in one championship. It's like, no, she doesn't. No, you're talking about someone who has been a champion almost everywhere she's fought outside of the UFC. She's been the Jules champion, the Road FC champion, and the Rising champion. And she has faced a who's who of fighters from 105 pounds to 115 pounds. Her career spans how long? Geez, what does her career span? I can't even remember right now. From an MMA career starting all the way back in 2007. 15 years. 15-year career. And by the way, you look at Ham's early career, and it is, she faced much deeper competition than Angela Lee ever did early in her career, which is why it doesn't look as pretty as Angela's early career does. But look at this. We're talking since 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fight win streak. For this is getting ridiculous. The Lee family privilege is real. Like, they're trying so hard to make this girl into a star, and it's like, man, you can't even decide what country she's from. One championship. And here's another thing before I get into the comments here. Why don't they have any more challengers at 125 for Xiong? They've done basically nothing to try to grow that division, which makes you wonder, is it deliberate, or is it incompetence, or is it even worse than that? I mean, they've done nothing to try to grow her. In fact, Chatri Sityodtong openly, vocally talks down about her rank, saying, well, she hasn't been impressive her last few fights. And then all the shills, all the one championship shills are like, well, she hasn't been impressive her last few fights. It's like she cruised past her last 3 opponents, including an opponent who beat Angela Lee again. She cruised past Tiffany Teo. She cruised past Michelle Nicolini, and then she cruised past Ayaka Europe. But did she get a finish? No. But you know what? Sometimes the finishes don't come. I mean, nobody was angry at Angela Lee when she failed to finish May Yamaguchi twice. So why has there been a lack of signings at the 125-pound division? Well, it could be deliberate because, like I was just saying, they've been trying to downplay Sion's title reign, which is kind of dumb because if you downplay her title run, then it doesn't make Angela look as good when she beats Sion. But also, okay, let's say let's say Angela wins the title at 125. She's the queen of an empty division. I mean, you can say, oh, it's great. She's the first ever 2-division women's champion in one championship history. Okay, but she's a champ. Her second division is she's the champion of what? What? One other fighter, 2 other fighters currently in the division? Because Tiffany Teo is moving down to 115. So she's a champion of a nothing division now. So it could be deliberate on one championship's part to not sign fighters there, to basically leave the pathway open for Angela. Because if Xiong doesn't have any legit challengers, it makes it easier for them to put in their golden girl, the Singaporean hometown hero, Angela Lee, right into a title challenge again. It could be incompetence. Maybe they're just not that good at signing new talent. We all know One Championship mostly prefers to brew homegrown talent. They rarely sign legit people. And when they do, the bias is still towards their homegrown fighters. So maybe they're just not very good at signing new people. Or here's possibility number 3. Nobody wants to fight for them. Nobody with an established career wants to go fight for one. Because think about it. How many legitimate signings, at least in their women's division, have they gotten league? Sahi, and that's it. The only other established women's fighter that they've signed in recent memory would be Anissa Mex in the kickboxing. I don't really care about kickboxing. But in MMA, their last legit signing was Han. Before that, nobody at 115. Well, May Yamaguchi, and that was way back in 2017, 2016. Let me look it up real quick. Vivi May made her one championship debut in June. No. Whoa, way back. In May of 2016. And it was for the inaugural championship against Angela Lee. She was their first legit signing from outside of the promotion. And since then, the only other real legit lady they've signed since then, like proven name value fighter, is Ham. And they caught her right at the end of her career because she's openly said, "Hey, my run at one championship is going to be the last." Maybe nobody just wants to fight for them. It seems like they're only good at getting established or young fighters right at the beginning. And established fighters, either they don't want established fighters or they're just nobody wants to fight for them. That is a distinct possibility that other than fighters at the end of their career trying to get some extra money, nobody really wants to fight for one. I mean, there were a lot of horror stories out, a few years ago about people being stuck in their contracts, being shut out of fights by one. Basically, people that were trapped in their contracts and not getting fights. It's a possibility that once word gets out about that, it's hard to attract new people. Now, for the type of fighters that they grow from nothing, from scratch, yeah, it's a good opportunity because they're going to make some money, more money than they'd make on a regional circuit, and they get put into the spotlight fast. So, yeah, it's easy to sign new people that are new to the sport, inexperienced, so on and so forth. But once you start trying to get those veterans, those that have been there, done that, seen it all, and have the receipts, once word gets out that, yeah, you don't give your people fights and you shelve them for a year on end or more, and the contracts are impossible to get out of, they won't let you out of them if you want to get out of them, people tend to not want to sign. So maybe they're just unable to bring in other fighters. Because how hard is it to find fighters at 125 pounds? It is literally, statistically, the most populous of the women's divisions. So how hard is it to find fighters at 125 pounds and build prospects up? It's not hard. I mean, Invicta doesn't have nearly the resources that one championship has. By resources, I mean money. And yet they still keep managing to keep their flyweight division going. And keep managing to keep crowning champions and finding new contenders. So why can't one championship do it? Because nobody wants to fight for them. It's a possibility. So those are all factors in why I'm not a fan of this fight happening right now. Okay, Lee rarely defends her title. She has a legit challenger right now in the most decorated fighter in all of their women's divisions, even though they keep trying to downplay her. We've seen this fight twice. Xiong should be defending her title against legit 125. Well, we won't go there. Yeah, listen, like I said, as a fight itself, yeah, I'm down for a third fight between these two, but not right now. We finally got a title defense out of Lee back in March. And now here she is. She's going to go the rest of the year without defending her title. So we're going to get one title defense from her in 3 years. We've already had only two from her in 4. Come on. Come on. Like I said, that Lee family privilege in one championship is real. That Chatri privilege is a real thing. Easy E in chat says, well, Lee is one's it girl, so they are trying to rush her legacy. That's all I can say. Maybe third time is the charm. Who knows? Maybe third time is the charm. Excuse me. Says they definitely don't want Ham to fight Lee right now. We all know why. LOL. I'm not so sure that Ham would beat Lee. I would need to see them face to face before I could make a real choice here in that one. I'm pretty sure. Again, going back to my other recent live stream topic that I cut and snipped into a separate video. Lee's very big for 115 pounds. Ham is a legit 105 pounder. She makes 105 no problem. Lee's never actually fought as an atomweight. Won championship atomweight? Yes. As a legit atomweight? No. And I think we all know why. She's very big. So until I would see those two face to face, I'd have a hard time picking Hom, honestly. And I'm a huge Hom fan. I've been following her since day one in the sport. So her day one, I mean, in the sport. All right, so that's really all I have for the stream. Do we have anyone else in the chat? By the way, please remember to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. So I'll give you a minute if anyone else has anything. Other than that, we're going to get ready to get going. So, good weekend of fights. We had some good finishes. We had an absolute war over on the UFC between Awagi and Lucindo. We had a pretty brutal finish in Cachoeira versus Lipski. Friday night, we had a great finish with Claire Lopez defeating Camila Rivarola. First time Rivarola has been stopped. And good weekend of fights overall. So I do have some recent videos out if you want to go check them out. I have 3 fight reviews from the past weekend. We have I reviewed Lopez versus Rivarola and Alvarez versus Schaefer for Combate. I also reviewed Howard versus Lucindo from the UFC. So please go check those out. And other than that, hopefully you had a good time tonight. I had a good time. I always have a good time discussing MMA. But like I said earlier, please hit that like button. Even once the stream ends, that still keeps the algorithm's attention and it draws people to the playback. It'll let people, watch it later on. And it does help. I do get people that watch the stream even after it's ended. Maybe they couldn't watch it live or something. I don't know. But until then, we'll see you Thursday night. Hopefully tonight is the night I earned your subscription. WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.